Cheryl here. Another wonderful welcome to my craft room. It has been a while, but I wanted to get this 6-card, 6-envelope project finished for you using this fabulous washi tape. It is 5.5 inches, easy to unravel, fantastic to stick on. Right here is watercolor paper, so and it's 140-pound watercolor because I wanted the thickness of this to be on the card, because I'm going to do, are you ready for this, 6 A2 size cards. And I saw this card when I went to Port Colborne to Stamplicity. It was hanging up by the product, and I actually thought that somebody had painted this geometric shape onto this card and then used a gold pen to, draw the geometrical lines in the actual panel. And I couldn't believe it was washi tape. I'm not kidding. I thought, okay, I have to have it. It's 5.5 inches, if I just didn't say that, across. And I will put the link onto the video. I'll go back and look it up. I just wanted to get the voiceover done because you can see it's 2.5 hours long. I think this is one of my longest tutorials, but like I did say, it's 6 cards with 6 ideas in putting together, using your stash to match the envelopes. And I'll explain that they don't match as far as design, but they do match, and you will understand it. And I took a ton of stash. Okay, this is a stash usage of putting together this style of card. And you can do it with any of your washi tape. It doesn't have to be 5.5 inch washi tape, but it's amazing. I bought a couple of rolls. One washi tape like this is the same pattern as the stamp set. It's a beautiful floral wreath, and then it has a die, and the washi tape matches, which has 1,000 ideas to use because it's 5.5 inches across. And so I just wanted to give you some inspiration today as I prepared this card. And I'm going to also have you get out a few stash products you probably haven't used in a while. And we'll do that later on in the tutorial. So as you can see, I did place the washi tape down on the 140-pound watercolor. And the only reason I did it on this watercolor is because of the thickness. I like my cards thick and heavy, and I'm using A2 paper. I bought the stamp set that goes with this geometrical washi tape because that's what the sample was when I saw it. And I'm looking at it here, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take off the sides because the sides limit me with the burgundy to have to, incorporate that into the actual card. So I thought, no, I'm going to take it off, and that way I can stretch myself. And I am going to put some watercolor down with an inexpensive watercolor set. I think you're going to love it. And you don't need to have expensive supplies to make a box of cards. Now, I didn't include the box. I'm going to put that in the next tutorial. It just would have been, far too long. But this is King Art paint. It is, what's the word I'm looking for here? I have all the other expensive styles, the Gonze Tomby inks, the cheaper ink there, or should I say more inexpensive ink from Michael's over to the right. And then my sister had bought me this one from King Art. And this is the set that has the matching 5.5 inch washi set tape, by the way, that I just showed there. And my sister Barb, hey Barb, when she's out shopping and she sees something that she knows I'll just be over the moon about, she picks it up for me. And she knows that I don't want anything expensive. Here's a set that she picked up for me as well. This one, of watercolor brushes, and that other one that's coarse hair to the right. And she did get them on sale, and I can't wait to use them. You know, you can't have enough watercolor brushes, right? That's what I say. And there's the product box, and it's King Art. King Art Company, but it's kingartco.com. If you're looking it up, I have the Gonzai Tomby sets, and I have the smaller one. I don't use these too often because these more inexpensive paints are fabulous to use. I don't think you could tell. The only thing I like is I like the golds in the Gonzai Tomby if I'm doing a project where I'm going to incorporate gold. So I use that. But I thought I would take this out and I would show you how beautiful these metallic paints are. The next thing I wanted to do was to pick out the background, the edging that's going to go around my card. And I had recently in a haul bought this Anna Griffin metallic paper. It's gorgeous. It's 6 inches across by 12. So that's wonderful. It's a 12 by 12 cut in half, and you get to buy it like this. So you don't have to pay for 12 by 12 sheets. You can buy it 6 by 12, and that's wonderful. So I'm just trying to find the best way to lay down these washi tape panels and use different colors to bring out the watercolor that's actually in the washi tape. And then it's wonderful to add the gold throughout your card because the geometrical shape is gold. I think we all have quite a bit of washi tape from that era of buying washi tape that happened a few years ago. And I thought, you know, it would be fantastic to gather up your washi tape and put it in strips onto watercolor paper or plain colored heavy cardstock and die cut out of it and use it up, because as you see here with this 5.5 inch, there are a lot of ways to use your dies and get a beautiful bright color using different strips, or actually take the same roll of washi tape and just keep applying it side by side by side until you get enough to die cut a panel, an image, an animal, whatever. But we get to go in our stash and use it up. And I think that is the key. It is for me to use up some stash. So I didn't put the box in this for 2 reasons. One, I'm not finished it. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah, that kind of helps. I didn't want to wait. And I had to edit down from 29 hours of work. So that's why it's near 2.5 hours. But I always say you can fast forward it to the end. You don't have to watch it all. I just didn't want to break it up into 2 segments. I wanted to keep it all in there and let people decide, you know, if they want to watch it all as a movie or if they wanted to just take it in sections, you know, for a couple of weeks. Just watch 15 minutes at a time. And that's good too. I hope everybody's doing well. I sure miss you when I'm not on YouTube. I'm still getting comments in, which is fabulous, on other card projects that I've done on YouTube and other projects alone. I love getting to meet new people and getting to chat with people that have followed me for some time. I sure do appreciate it. And I know that Carol Lynn will be watching this, and I just want to say I hope things are going well for you, health-wise, my friend. I'm praying, and I'm so thankful that you let me know that you needed prayer, and we all need prayer, right? So that's fabulous. And Carol Lynn is who I sent the Stampin' Up! Markers to. So I'm sure she's getting some use out of those as well to color. Now, let's get back to this. I'm going to mention a few people in my tutorial today. I don't mean to leave anybody out, but sometimes a few people have insight that helps me out when I'm creating. You know, they'll mention something and then I'll say, oh, I got to do that. Yes. So if you hear me do that, it's only because I'm thinking of you this morning at that particular moment. I'm sorry. This is a time, it's about 10:30, where some emails are going to come in and I can't stop them. And because it's so long, I just want to forge ahead. Yeah, forge ahead and get this voiceover done so I can get it up for you. And let me see. So what I'm doing is I wanted to get out this super thick cream cardstock. I don't know where I got this. It was I think it's 200 pack. And I've never used it. And it's such a pretty cream. It's like a deep cream. And it was in my paper stacker thingy. So I thought, you know, I'm going to incorporate. Because see the yellow in there? It just works its way along. I don't know where that little image came from. My Bestie's image must have been on the back of a piece of white cardstock I wanted to use. So you never know. It was hard. It's hard to edit a tutorial, my friends, from hours of work. What to keep in, what not to keep in, what to speed up, what to not speed up. You know, it takes a few days. So I worked hard to get as much in here to inspire you as I could. I'm going to, here's the Tim Holtz Thinlit set that I was telling you about that I saw on this card. And it's the Geo Springtime set, 664157. If you're interested, it has the beautiful butterfly, the amazing little bunny, and of course our hummingbird. And it was the hummingbird card that I saw that really did make me buy what went with it. Now here's Anna Griffin cardstock as well. This is the brushed gold, rose gold cardstock, and you get it in 6 inches by, boy, I can't remember. I bought the 12 by 12, and then if you pay a little bit more, you get these, I think it is 6 by 12. I don't know if it's 6 by 8. I can't remember. I don't have it here. It's put away already. But isn't the color beautiful? I bought it in the gold, and I bought it in the rose gold. So, and then the true gold. There, if you go to Anna Griffin's site, you'll see, and it's thick. Oh my, it's thick. Now, I was talking to a friend, and she was questioning the Empress and why I cut into the magnet. Now, my friend Gail, hey Gail from Georgia, she told me that Anna cuts into the magnet part. And I'll tell you, it doesn't affect yet. I have cut more die cuts than you can imagine, because I cut tons and tons when I do a project so that I have extra. And she said it's cheaper to buy an extra, I keep saying cheaper, it's more inexpensive than buying the 2 plates, the acrylic plates. This way, the plates don't warp. You have nice new plates if you remember to keep the die down. I have a few images that I didn't think of that. Look at that beautiful, thin, it's just exquisite. It's like the geometrical gold shape there, so nice and fine in this hummingbird. And I did it in the gold. And you're going to see I did it in colors too. So you're going to see how beautiful these 3 shapes are, you know. And so now back to the Empress. So if you have another die cutting machine that you have to, you know, worry about, you know, we're so used to cutting the die down, putting the die down, that nobody thinks to just cut it into your magnet plate. The magnet plates are very inexpensive, my friends, when you order them, compared to 2 acrylic plates. And I have been using this, the smaller die and like the smaller acrylic plate and magnet plate there. You know, it's the normal size. And then I bought the large one, the long one. And I'm cutting into both of them so they can evenly have all those cuts in them. It does not affect my paper yet, my friends. And I don't think I'm going to have to order or use a new metallic matte. That's what I have to call it. For a long time. It's a matte. It's not a plate. So, yeah. So that's something to think about if you're looking for a die cutting machine that is automatic. And I'm telling you, I've had all the machines, I think, and this one is truly the most inexpensive, but yet the most wonderful working machine. It's quiet, it cuts on the first pass, it's gorgeous on your table where you're working, it's golden cream, and it works. That's the key. It works, and it doesn't give me any problems. I just press the button, off it goes, and if I want to reverse it, I just have to hold it down. But that's fine. I'd rather hold that button down than crank it any day. I tell you what, I don't think I could go back to a crank machine. It's just crazy. So anyway, let's move on. I'm going in all the metallics paper I see as a background paper. And I also used metallics on my envelopes as well. So this will show you how to design on a slicker surface as the metallic paper. It is a different, it is different on your products when you use them than using a flat surface, a matte surface, so to speak. So here, oh yeah, look at that. Just getting messages. My granddaughter's saying good morning, and that's sweet, isn't it? And so I'll just good morning her back in a little bit. Thank you, Katie. So here we go. I'm trying to think. This is for backgrounds. I have my cards right beside me. Or nope, this is for, I'm cutting all my envelopes. This is an envelope. And this is not metallic. This has a different texture to it. Not metallic, but it has that, when you feel it, it isn't smooth. It's just has a little bit of a something in there, and I really like it because I did some coloring on it. I did so many things to help inspire you to use your product. I'm all about using products because we buy those products. Sure, there's a lot of nice looking products on the market now, and my eyes are drawn to it just like they are drawn to a sub sandwich. But I have to resist it and go to my cupboard and get a can of soup. I can't be always buying the newest and the greatest out there because it's costs you money. And yeah, it doesn't grow on trees here in Ontario. I don't know where you are. Maybe, maybe you have a few money trees that you don't know, that nobody knows about. And but anyway, we all don't have money trees, and it is, a costly endeavor sometimes if you like new things. So when I make my mind up to not buy anything, remember I did a year, I didn't buy one single thing. Then I went another year, and I think I went 6 months, not a year, and I only bought glue. So you can do it. You can do it. You can go to your stash and be happy with what you do have in your stash. So what I do, well, I'll tell you what I should have done. I should have done all my coloring and designing with the envelope open, right? Like on the flat surface. Some of them, yeah, get it out of the way, Carol. The funny thing is I have an island. If you haven't watched me, I have an island in my craft space. And I put my makeup on the island. I have, I can't hardly see. I have to use that 10 times mirror. So I set it on there. So sometimes I get like little bits of lipstick pencil drops or onto the counter. And I have to be very careful that I make sure I wash that up right after, because if you get that on your card, it's not coming up as easy. Probably would come up with that tape or that eraser, the eraser with all the little flecks in it that helps you get everything that lands on it. Let me say, I'm just taking a spare sheet of paper and going over all of my little corner punches so I can see what one looks the best. I didn't want to put fancy because it's a geometrical shape. I wanted to keep it simple, and this reverse tag style, I loved it. So I'm doing the gray metallic paper with this pink, so to speak, washi tape, and then I will set my bunny in there because I'm going to do the bunny on the pink, and I'll put it aside, and then I will work. This is how I'll do it. I'll have all of these laid out, and then I get to use my envelope savers. You know those envelopes that keeps the dust off your cards? I bought a ton of those 5 years ago because I started making A2 size cards when I started crafting. I didn't know anything but an A2. I didn't think, and then I started watching tutorials and I kept going, wow, I can use something bigger. And so that's the history of my large card creations, so to speak. So here I'm going back and I'm taking out all the corners because I really did like this little tiny corner puncher. And yeah, so I just saved them in a little container. That container's from Swiss Chalet. And I just washed it up and I put all my little punches that wouldn't fit into my organizer punchy thing and put them in there and just put it on the floor beside my unit, and it works well. I just grab one of them and test them out because each corner, little puncher adds something to your cards. It just takes the edge off of a perfect rectangle, square, whatever you have. So I like to get them out and test them out. And yeah, and I wanted to see the paper underneath it, so I thought that'd be cool to use that. So here I just making my own card bases. I wanted to use up paper that I had. I didn't want to cut into more paper, so here I'm just making the A2 size self-made card base. And I'm using 140 pound cardstock, so it is thick. So it's, and you'll notice that it doesn't have a gusset on this one. Wow, what happened? I don't know. I know some of them do. I guess it depended on what I was going to put in it. But now I'm going back to the drawing table here, lifting it up, making sure I get all the wrinkles out. It comes out easily. With you could use a motel card or a credit card, or this is a Stampin' Up thingy that I got when I was using Stampin' Up supplies back in the day, and this came with the box when I ordered my first box, and it was in there to put up some type of a wall lettering thing that I never used. But I love this now. It's perfect for this removal of your wrinkles and crinkles. It'd be great if I could use it on my face, wouldn't it? If it was that easy to get out your wrinkles and crinkles. I'd keep my laugh lines though. I would. I love laugh lines. I think they give every person their own character. It shows how much you laugh and smile, So I'm truly wrinkled up in the eyes division. I always like to smile, and I always like to laugh if I can. Sure releases a lot of pressure if you can do that, and it uses less muscles to smile than it is to frown. So that was something educational when I heard that. Just walk around with a smile on your face and you won't be as wrinkled up when you age. That's what I got out of that. Now, I had this parchment paper. I thought it was beautiful, and I thought I would use it. But the funny thing is, the Thinlit dies are so thin. That's probably why it's called a Thinlit die, right? Yeah, and you can't see any of the parchment on it. I just thought that was funny. But the yellow was perfect for me. Oops, sorry, I got my head in there. Love my little We Are Memory Keepers vacuum. Here we go. See? You just twist it off, shake out all the bits and bitses. I take a baby wipe. It hasn't done anything to it that I know of, because I want to get all the staticky little things out of there. And I don't do this every time. I just looked at it and I saw it was really dusty, so I thought I'd take my pokey tool and get in all the grooves and make it nice and clean so I can suck it all up again, all my little bits and pieces off my island. And did I finish telling you the story about my island? I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, yeah, I do, because I put my makeup on. Okay, whew. Thought I was losing it there for a minute. And my friend Gail from Georgia, I was talking to her last night and I said, you know, I use my little vacuum. She said she got the vacuum when she saw me using it, because I'm telling you, if your rings are loose, this thing will suck the rings off your fingers, okay? And it plugs in to your laptop. There I go again. Yeah, I'm getting my roots done on Wednesday, so that's great. Yeah, cleaning up as I go. You know me, just trying to get it all in order because I'm doing so much. I don't want it to stack up. So I'll put a new sheet down there and I'll get the camera all set. But I was telling Gail, I was telling her something. We were talking about the Empress, and Gail purchased quite a bit from Anna Griffin, and she encourages me. She tells me, you know, what is nice and what, you know, is great to have in your stash. And I think the word was everything, right, Gail? Just order it all. Oh, it's crazy. I told her I'm not even watching HSN. Because I ordered my Empress from the Canadian site, with Anna Griffin Canadian site. That Empress was $95 Canadian, okay? And with the shipping and the bridge toll thingy, it was $125. And you get the 2 plates, you get the magnet plate, you get a happy birthday die set with the big die and the birthday greetings and a butterfly and the whole set. You get the magnet mat, you get the tin thing with it for 125 Canadian dollars. You cannot beat that. I don't care. And you are getting the most fabulous die cutting machine that's automatic you've ever seen. So there. I don't know if somebody was thinking what I thought of it. I just thought I'd throw that in for you. Yeah. So here, back to the stash. This honeybee set I've never used. I keep all my blessed and blessing sets that are die cuts and a few little sentiment. I love this stamp, sending blessings from our family to yours. And just trying to incorporate different products. I'm going to use a wreath. I'm going to use this die set here, that one right there with the rose. I'm going to use a penny blacks set of flowers. And what I do is I get a bucket. Okay, a nice fancy, you know, bucket you get at the dollar store. Really fancy, you know, my dollar store, nothing's $1. And I just walk around and put all of my stamps and dies into that bucket. I changed up. I used to have a box, but now that takes up too much room. So now I went to the bucket. And then I drop everything in there that I think I'm going to use, and I bring it over to the island. Now, if you saw, I'm going to leave that video. If you saw that thing where I bought those extension units you put on your desk or wherever you craft, if it has a little bit of edging, and it gives you a huge space. It's like a bucket in itself, and then it has all the baskets you add to it to put your tools in. And I have one on the left and one on the right, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'll walk around and put things in this side that I use, things in that side. And let's get back to this. Okay, so I took out an edge stamp, and like I said, I already had this put together. So obviously you're not going to get a sweet stamp because it's going to sit up a little ways. I will encourage you, don't forget your powder. I use baby powder. I put it in a chili bottle. And yeah, so I had to do some little maneuvering here to get out pieces that didn't, you know, when I pressed down on my Tim Holtz platform there, it just didn't make it because my envelope was already put together. I wish I had have not done that, but you know what? it just teaches you to be patient and to come up with different ways to fix it. Fix what, everything's fixable. I always say that. I mean, unless you spilt a cup of tea all over it, but then you could do a mixed media thing when it dried. So, I mean, I think everything is fixable. Yeah, just come up with that plan B, D, E, F. It always works for me. So I went to my glittery, sparkly embossing powders, and I thought, okay, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, the turquoise and the black and grays in there. I love it. I just love it. So, yeah, I used some of that. This is all stash stuff that I bought, and yeah, just fling it on the floor. That's it. It's a good thing I have a wooden floor. I can just take a broom and sweep it up. So now we're going to go around. Now, I'm not getting the detail like I wanted with all the beautiful roses, but I tell you what, it does look nice. It goes with the geometrical thing, except for this thing, you don't quite know what it is. So while it was still hot, see what I mean there? You couldn't see the flowers. Take your pokey picky tool and get it out of there while it's still warm. You can bring the image back. It's just, I didn't keep it all in the edit, but it will come off. It really will. And you will get your image. Just set your stamp to the side if you can't make it out. And then take a little bit of time and sit there. I know, I just didn't want to make another envelope. So I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to go around and I'm going to remove all of the little places so that the flowers stand out in the leaves. That's all I cared about. And I kept this in the edit because I just want to encourage you to not throw things out. I'm not one to throw things out. So I try to fix it up if I possibly can. There was a couple of things that I don't know if I left it in the edit that were impossible to fix. I mean, just crazy impossible. But I was working on it. Now I took some vellum and I thought, okay, I'm going to do that corner and see if the intricacy of this beautiful stamp comes out. And it did. Look at that. I mean, it took some work. What I was thinking when I fussy cut this out, and I didn't do a true fussy cut, I just went around it best I could. I really don't like fussy cutting anymore, but I mean, I did my best on this one. And I was thinking, could I lay this over top? But I couldn't because even though this was 29 pound paper, you couldn't see through it. I could have done this and hid the other one, but I didn't want to do that. Now, here I have never used this glue sponge. This was something I thought, okay, I want to try this. I don't mind getting ink on my hands, but I don't like getting glue on my hands. I have to tell you, I just don't like glue. There's something about it. So I thought, okay, let's see if this vellum sticks. That's the key. Get a paper towel and let's see if it does stick by just patting it down. And you know what? This thing, if you can stick down vellum, it's a good glue. Then I took my dental pick and I just went over the little areas that didn't get anything in it because I didn't press down. But then I'll show you what I ended up doing on that glue. That you don't want to put it upside down for too long because then it's too much glue on the surface. You don't want to work with that either because the glue oozes up onto your actual image. So I found that if you just I took a chopstick and I just pressed down to let certain spots of this sponge get the glue up to the top and then work its way around. So I hope I kept that in. Then I bought this in one of my stash visits at Stamplicity in Port Colborne. And I was able to get some of the gold out of the lid, which was fabulous. And I just wanted to do around this hummingbird with a slight touch of gold because the washi tape has that geometrical gold in it. So I wanted to incorporate the gold and I loved it. It was just, I didn't want too much. I'm going to use I'll tell you when I get there. I have so much in this tutorial, I don't want to be giving everything away, but that's a nice touch to add to something that's going color on color. You know, the same color on top of the same color image. Just add some detail onto the edging of your die cut and it'll stand out much more and make it more dimensional for you. So that's what I did. And tell me that's not the most gorgeous hummingbird ever, ever. And then you say to yourself, well, why didn't you cut it out with the gold? I could have. See it over on the left? I did cut a ton of them out. And here I'm thinking, okay, Carol, just close your eyes and press it down with your finger. Oh, yeah, I hated doing this. I can't even tell you. Look at it going right over my nails. Eeks. Yeah, I'm not liking that at all. It worked. It worked. And then I'm kind of working it around. But then I thought, get your finger out of that, Carol. Clean it up. It's like finger painting. I mean, it didn't kill me to do this. It's just that when I go to touch something, I have to make sure I run and clean it up now. This way, I thought, okay, let me see if I just totally saturate this image. Take a paper towel. Let me just see here. Yeah. Take a paper. Nope, it's got to come up again. See what I mean? Keep setting her down. I want to make sure his little beak is showing there. I didn't want to make that go right into the image. Look at me. I'm full of glue. I'm trying to work my little image here. Look at my finger. Yeah, it's not a feel. Yeah, get it off there. Then I took a baby wipe and worked it. Oh no, here I go. Yeah, and this wasn't bad. I didn't mind doing it this way, getting the glue on top of the image. It came off nicely. And then I'm going to do something with the envelope front in a little bit of time. So we'll get to that. And here I had sending blessings, and then for some reason on another project, I had cut this down. This was one actual photopolymer stamp at one time. And so there's some reason why I needed to have, I probably wanted just the sending blessings, and I probably wanted to put the blessings alongside the sending, and that's why I cut it all up. And this goes to show you that you can use it and put it back together like it used to be, and that's what I did. And like I said again, I hate to keep saying like I said, but I love the Fiskars. I love the Fiskars press. But if you make sure you put your powder on here, and I use my clear embossing powder on everything. I use it on ink pens. I use it on just about anything. If it's wet, my friends, that embossing powder, the clear embossing powder, whatever color, I prefer the clear over top to make the shine on, you know, stamped images, because it will stick and it will just give it that shine you want on there. So, and I'll show you. Here's my Burt's Bees. You know I love my Burt's Bees. I got out a sponge and now I'm going over the top because this gives it a shine. It takes away all your fingerprints that you put on there. I would recommend when you're doing the front of anything that you have a paper towel so your fingers aren't touching it all the time. But the Burt's Bees I got at my pharmacy, and it's in the where you get all your hand creams, and it smells just a little bit of this gorgeous smell. I don't know what it is. It's not, there's no perfume and all that in it. It's great for your hands. It's great for your hands and your skin, you know. And so I switched going to the Burt's Bees because I get 2 times as much, and it is the same as using, I had to go look at the name of it, the Tim Holtz Distress Glaze. But you get twice as much in the bottle, and it does the same thing. So I learned that some time ago and went and bought the Burt's Bees because it's great as a cream. You know, bought a couple of bottles, so I had one for my hands and one for the front of my envelopes. It's water resistant. It gives you a shine, but not a shine, if you know what I mean. It's just subtle and wonderful. It keeps your image gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Then I decided after I did the rubbing with my sponge and my Burt's Bees cream that I would put, excuse me, some diamonds across there, because when I press down, I have a heavy hand and it kind of smushed those little dots. Some were big, some were small, and I thought, no, I'm just going to get a strip of diamonds. And here I'm just showing you, I got this at Stamplicity, my little glue bottle holders. They're like little egg holders, and they hold the, which glue is it that works really well in there is the art glitter glue. Fits perfect even with your pin in it, and perfectly the tonic glue goes right in there without it moving around, so it's great. Yeah, what am I doing here? I just came and looked up, and oh, I'm taking the image off of the Tim Holtz platform. I like the platform because if you're making envelopes, your envelopes, if you're designing on the top of them, you can have the edges go off the platform. You know, it has the one half of it doesn't have edges to keep in your paper. So that's really good. And now here's a close-up of how wonderful the images are. Then I went to my stash and I found some of the sequins that kind of matched. These sequins, I'm trying to think where they are from. I can't even remember. I put them all away. I think it's from, oh, it'll come to me. I always say it'll come to me. I just went to where I have, generally my sequins are in that silver can with all the little round things I got at Tuesday morning, the little round containers. But I put them in there. But if they are in Ziploc bags like these were, I have a unit that hangs from my door that I had gotten from Michael's. It opens up and you've got a ton of space to store your stuff, and it looks beautiful on your door. I have a video showing my craft room in the process, you know, in time. It's when we renovated our home, and it was kind of like each video is the start of how I kept designing, because I have antiques. I like that look of, what's the name of it there? Eclectic, so to speak. And yeah, it's a little bit here, a little bit there of things I've collected, and I really like it. It works for me, And that's all. I used to work at a kitchen table. I've worked at a small little kids table in the kitchen. I mean, I've done it all. And then finally, I'm able to have the second floor of our home to design and keep. All it is more space to store stuff, because you really only create on a 12 by 12 piece of surface. You know, you need a little bit of space to put your stuff out, and so don't worry about what your space consists of. If you can store your stuff and you have a little bit of room to design on, that's all you need. It really is. So you work with what you have, and that's always nice, isn't it? You just work with the space you have and be thankful you have that little bit of space. So here we go. I'm just adding the sequins. I got out a couple of packs. I tried to incorporate 3 different packs from 3 different companies, and like I said, look at that A2 size card, and how pretty is that? You could not have the sequins. The card that I saw at Stamplicity didn't have sequins on it, but I wanted to use supplies. My whole goal, and here we go, I'm getting out my Perfect Pearl sprays, my shimmer spray there from another company. It's so fast I couldn't even see. You could probably stop the video, but it's just a nice iridescent white spray that I sprayed over top, and it worked really nice. I love the metallic shine to the iridescent spray, the white kind of spray. So there you have it. There's my 2 cards that match with the beautiful hummingbird. And isn't that sweet? I really did like this A2 size card. And especially if you're doing a set of 6, you get to design on 6 different surfaces. And the inside of the cards, I did design some, I did three, I did the inside and the upper portion of the inside. Some I did that because I was just moved to keep designing on that particular A2 space. And now I'm getting out my metallic, my other metallic. This is what I did. I just went around and got out things I haven't used for a while. I had a little makeup sponge here, so I'm going to do this one. This hummingbird's going to go on the inside of the card. It's a lighter style gold. Yeah, I threw that makeup brush right in there. Why not? That way I don't have to use another one when I open it up again. Squish out my paper and go grab another one. I hope I did. And we're just going to move around. How is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. And, I'm sure it kind of gets to you if you're not a person that is a homebody, I'm sure. Here, this is the granddaddy of my Xyron machine. So I thought, I'm going to try this. I'm going to just put a few of these birds so I don't have to use the glue. And I get to use my Xyron machine. So this was, like I say, it was working my stash. And, if you use a Xyron machine, whether it's the 2-inch, the 3-inch, the 6-inch, or this 9-inch one, you're going to get a glue that sticks, my friends. This glue, you're not going to have to worry it's not going to go down. Xyron stands. You can see I had the purple 1/2-inch Xyron runner that Xyron had sent to me. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the dot one, it just puts dots out there because I generally use liquid glue over top of my runner tape. So I don't know, it doesn't matter. With runner tape, I always think I've got to put glue on it too. I don't know. Something about me. So here I put the hummingbird down. So I wanted to situate my beautiful flower from Penny Black there. Isn't that gorgeous? Love this set. And I haven't used this set in forever. I think I used one flower there at the top left. And I stamped it with the detail black, just having myself a swig of Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I'm using both of them nowadays. And I stamped it with the detail black ink, and of course I have to get out my clear embossing powder so that when I color it, I always feel like it's an extra safe thing to put clear embossing powder over a stamped image. And see, at the bottom my stems are floating in the air. I just grabbed a Copic friendly pen, black pen, and drew some lines, and then I went back and I added the clear embossing powder to it later. So there's always going back, right? Now I'm going to put it down. It's called Blooming Garden by Penny Black. This is an oldie but goodie. Beautiful florals, tulips, and I'm not an expert on flowers per se. I know what a rose looks like, a tulip, those kind of things. I get mixed up on the chrysanthemum and the petunias and stuff like that. I think it's awesome to have a garden, a floral garden, flower garden, whatever. I think that's cool. But at my age now, I don't want to do any gardening or, vegetable gardens anymore. So we keep our house clear of everything. It's just clean all the way around. And that works for me. Whatever works for you. Then I put some flowers on the porch. So you have to have flowers somewhere here and there. And my granddaughter Livia and Owen, my grandson, bought me a great big, beautiful arrangement of, I think it is petunias, I'm not sure. Here's my Prisma pencils that I keep in beautiful glass bowls I get from the secondhand stores. And I love to see it. And then I'm going to get out my sharpener, because there it is, my electric sharpener. I'll leave a link for that one. You can get this one at any stationery store, and it stops when the point is just right. the machine stops, and I love that. And then you just pull the front bucket out at the bottom there, empty it out, slide it back in, and you're ready to go. It is a beautiful sharpener. Stitch or something like that it's called, but I will leave that in the description for you because I think it's a wonderful sharpener. So affordable, this one. You know, I know some electric sharpeners can really cost some coin, but that didn't. So let's get a close-up here. This coloring is excellent because the shading's all put in there by the designer. They already did the design, so I am sticking to the colors of the inside of the card, like, you know, my actual card. So I'm going to get some yellows in here, some turquoise, some blue, and I know sometimes people get, they're just a little bit intimidated with coloring. But if you color on this type of image where the shading is already done for you, you've already inked the shading in, all you're doing is adding color. It's just straight coloring, my friends. You don't have to worry about is the dark here, the light there, anything. Just to keep it darker down on the bottom, underneath, where you think the shading, where you see the shading. You don't even have to think about it. Add a little bit of deeper color, and that's it. And when you finish coloring, take the lightest color pencil and go over everything with the lightest color. Just a light hand going over it all. And it's just like using Gamsol. I do use Gamsol on this, by the way. Here's my light color. You can see I'm pretty well going over everything. I keep a dollar store where nothing's a dollar blush brush there so I can swipe the color. You don't want to swipe with your hand. You will end up with a little chip of your pencil that got, you know, found its way to the paper, and you're going to make a line every time. So whatever hand you have empty, keep that blush brush in it and use that. That's, you know, a little piece of advice for coloring that I picked up, and I really like it, appreciate it. So here we go. I am just, I don't know, just having some fun with some color here. Then you want a good eraser, the mono erasers. I don't know where I got that one that's cream color because it has like little diamond chips in it. It takes, this one takes everything off. And I don't know where I got it. Well, I probably got it at Beatty's. I shouldn't say I don't know where I got it, but I don't know the name of it because I took the cover off. But if you see one of these with a little diamondy flecks in it that grabs hold of your mistakes, grab that eraser. I'm going to try and find it. There's my Gamsol in my little plastic bottle and a sponge in there. I pour some Gamsol in it, and I've used that forever. Just with a tiny bit of Gamsol. It has lasted me forever. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to incorporate some blues, some purples, some turquoise, some yellow. Probably only 5 colors. There's not many colors in this. I just wanted it. Oh, here comes my stump. And I dip it in the Gamsol, and then I go over it. Gamsol just gives you that slippery color look. You know, that kind of wet look, but it's not wet. It pulls all your coloring together and makes it into one colorful design instead of showing each individual stroke that you're using with your pencils. That's what Gamsol does. So if you like the look of Gamsol, there you have it. If you like to see the pencil strokes, keep it out. And it looks beautiful either way. There, I'm using the mono. I have a lot of these erasers to give away when I hit my 20,000 subbies. And I have quite a bit of gifts to give away when that happens. So I'm really anxious to do that. And so here we go. Just, you know, inside, just try and find some space to add your color. Don't get too crazy about shadow source or whatever. You stop when you think it looks pretty. That's my philosophy. When I think it looks pretty, I stop. If I think of another color I want to add to it, fine. Now I grab another sponge. Oh yeah, I use my sponges. So I had to cut it down and get out my Burt's Bees cream. And we're going to go over the top of this entire envelope. Now I did color turquoise and yellow. There's the Distress Glaze. There's my Burt's Bees. You can see how much you get. You know, probably double. So, excuse me. Oh my, please don't lose my voice yet. I've got a lot to go here. So I took a ruler and then I thought, oh Carol, you don't need a ruler. What's the matter with you? You've made lines for years. So I'm going as close to the edge with my pen. Now this pen, it should be right here in front of me. Here it is. It is a Staedtler pigment liner 0.3. So Staedtler, Copa friendly. And then I make my marks and immediately I add my clear embossing powder because it's liquid. If anything has something that's, you know, wet, so to speak, get that clear embossing powder right on it. Like, poof, just have it right beside you. Empty it out. That's what there we go. And you can see every little line is shiny. Because this is, I added my little lines to the bottom of the stems and then I put some clear embossing powder over top. Looks nice and shiny. And then I took my Burt's Bees and, oh, what am I doing here? I am putting some Versamark on there so it's wet again because this pen dried too quickly. So I, took my dental pick and my liquid Versamark, put it on the stems, grabbed my clear embossing powder, and there you have it. I just went over it, added more lines to the bottom, and it's complete. Yes. And it's a sweet image. I'm not sure if I took my 3D crystal lacquer liquid to this one later. I'm not sure, but I did use it on the rabbits and I used it on, I think the, let me see, the other image there, the butterfly. Yes. So I tried to incorporate a lot of things for you. So here's my Burt's Bees. You can see how thick it goes on at first, but you take a paper towel and you wipe it right into your cardstock. And sorry, I told you, here comes all of my emails coming in. You just take, you can use another sponge if you like, but if you take a paper towel, it's going to just look gorgeous. It adds something to me. And especially, let me just say this, if you're going to mail this, if you're going to put stamps on it, I always love to put Burt's Bees or the glaze or the Tim Holtz Distress Glaze, whatever one you want. They both work the same. And just make sure that you cover the spot where your stamp is going to be because it won't, the sticky won't stay on top of this. So isn't that gorgeous? I really did love that design. It's quick, it's simple, and now we're going to move along to the inside of your cards. Let's have some fun. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun with some watercolor paper. And I get to use my new watercolor mat. And my new little inexpensive metallic paints. There you have it. So I get a spray bottle and spray down my colors nicely, nice and well. And then I love to work, I like to work with watercolor pens because it eliminates the fuss of having to go over and dip it into water, so it works out well. And if you put in, I spray down my card first. See how I did spray it? I don't know if I kept that in there. If I turn my head, I missed something. I'm just adding colors that I think are in the pages. I did add some gray because the card envelope was gray. And I'm just working it. And I'll spray it and push it around. This one I didn't want it to go edge to edge. That was the key. I didn't want it to work its way all the way to the edge. So I just did, moved it with water to where I liked the design. I stopped, add a little bit of heat to it. I always give it the first little heat and then I set it aside. I don't generally totally dry it. I dry it enough. And this paint did dry fast, so I didn't have to leave it long over onto the side. the vibrancy of the metallic paint stayed true to the color that I put on there once it was wet. So that was fabulous. And that's what I say. Yes, you get what you pay for. Yes, the good, the Gonzai Tombi paints are wonderful to have. But there is nothing wrong with a more inexpensive metallic paint in my book. Here I did two different designs. One I took further out, but I did decide to take out these stitch dies that I had, these wonky, I think they're called wonky stitch dies. If I'm right, I've had them for a while. And then I am going to cut them off, kind of move your die over to where you like the design shape of your card. Then run it through your die cutting machine, and I love this set. I have to go find, I'm pretty sure it is the wonky stitch set. And it's the one down from the largest one, I think. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. It's not bad designing with an A2 size card if you're going to do a lot. Look at the shine on that. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I didn't have it moved up enough, but that's okay. Isn't that nice? I love the stitching. Love everything about it. I wanted to be able to see to the left how it didn't go all the way to the edge. So I moved the die over so you could see that. And I'm just having a lot of fun. I just worked, if you don't see me on YouTube, it's either I've got a migraine or I'm, busy with the business. But I had a couple of hours a day I took on this, and maybe an hour in the evening. I just kept plugging along, wanting to use up my stash, like I said, and finding all kinds of things to use. Whether I used a tiny little shape, a tiny little die, tiny little stamp, I wanted to use it out of another set of another product, And wouldn't you know, you get more emails when you're doing a voiceover. Now, this is my less expensive gold paper that I get at Michael's. So it's, I think, $5.99 for a set for 25 sheets of this gold. It's very thin, but it makes the perfect backdrop. It's white on the back. It's gold on the front. It's like a mirrored gold. That's what I call this one. And I wanted to be just a tad bit of the gold showing because the geometrical shape is thin. The gold, imagery is thin. So I wanted to be fine on the showing of the gold. And I didn't want to cut the guts out either because the paper's so thin. And you get a lot of it. It's not expensive. Here I'm getting my 5-inch Suquang tape roll out so that it's, I'm not going to get any, strips on it because this gold paper shows everything. If you press your nail into it, you have a nail mark. Even touching it or a tool going by it. It's very fine paper. So I wanted to make sure that the glue was solid on the back of the watercolor paper like this. And it worked well for me. And I've been using that 5-inch or whatever it is roll of Suquang double-sided tape forever. I got that at Sandra's Buffalo Stampin' Stuff years ago. I think when we went, Janet. It's, excuse me, it's funny how we remember what supplies we got from where and who we were with when we purchased them. I haven't been to Buffalo Stampin' Stuff due to the fact that the border to Buffalo, New York has been closed down and we can't get over. So obviously it makes shopping a little more difficult, but I can find where there's a will, there's a way for me to get supplies. But I am on this hold back thing where I don't want to get anything. I want to start using up my supplies that I already have. And I think this concept of washi tape is wonderful. It's just, it really is. Here's that paper in all its glory there on the sheet. So I'm just going to mark it and we're going to put it as a backdrop just with a tiny, tiny edge around it. Always I have to remember, especially with day 2, and I want to put them in those sleeves, you know, the see-through sleeve things. I want to make sure that I put this, whatever I'm creating, smaller, you know, the gold especially, going onto the whatever color I think I'm using. Excuse me, sorry, my throat is starting to give out on me here. Now, so I'm jumping all over. I'm jumping from liner to glue to double-sided tape, whatever's handy at the time, trying to figure out, okay, what's the front, what's the back? What are we doing here? And yeah, that's the front. Okay, I'm starting to confuse myself. And not too often do I use sequins either. Like, this is really pulling the stash out. It just, I don't know. I just thought it was okay for the front of this card. It didn't overpower it or anything. And this is the set we painted with our paints. And now I'm going back. This is all the die cuts I had from my anniversary card. And by the way, thank you for viewing that. My husband loved the card. He really did, where you pull down the camera and the shutter opens up and it shows our wedding picture. He just loved it. So thank you so much if you viewed that. I appreciate it. And talk about getting far away from the camera. So here I just hauled out some Ulta New stash. I thought I would use some of this, so it was easy. I was looking for something there. I just went and whatever I could find as far as stamps and dies, I just shoved it in there. And now I'm picking out some, I'm looking for some dies. And I used some stamps of Ulta New as well. Here I'm putting away all my happies. And isn't that funny? I don't think I used one of them on my anniversary card, but yet I die cut at least 400 of them. So you can't have too many happies, you know, happy, happy, happy. And I did use it. Okay, Gail, this is what I'm talking about here. And Tina, I know you have one of these. I just take all the little mini guts off with my vacuum right onto my plate when I die cut. You have all those little pieces parts that are left on the magnet. So I just grabbed my magnet here. I'm trying to think, okay, what am I doing? Where's that bird? There's my hummingbird. I want it to go on the inside. You know, when you look at this, especially with cards and projects that I design more complicated things in the sense that I use a lot of supplies. Not that it's complicated. I shouldn't use that word. It's not complicated. Good night. If I can create it, it's not complicated. It's time consuming. There you go. And I'm making sure that it's going to go into that sleeve first. And there you have it. One card and one envelope. 5 more envelopes to go. 5 more cards. I don't know how many I created up to here. It's quite a long tutorial, isn't it? I can empathize with you having to watch it. I'm sitting here having to yak through it, and I'm feeling such compassion. For you, I am. Yeah, sorry if I screamed in your ear there. Oh, I'm easily excited these days. Well, I did go through a 3-day migraine. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so that wasn't fun. So I was going to get this video up then, but that stopped. And now we have a nice fall day. It's about 65 degrees. Yeah. One day it's 100, next day it's 65. It's crazy. So my barometric pressure, migraines go off the wall until the weather just starts to calm down and be at an even keel, an even temperature. So here we go. Why don't we get my shirt into the glue? Was I using glue then? No, I don't think it was yet. And this is Lawn Fawn glue. I'm trying to use up all my supplies. And I try to do the edges, take off a little bit of glue because I didn't want it oozing out onto the black cardstock. So here we go. Black is gorgeous, isn't it? When you do a little paint thing behind there. And ended up doing some different techniques with the paints. Also, I wanted to show you. We've all seen it, but I decided that I was going to incorporate it into my tutorial. So here we go, back to the glue. I wonder how much glue we actually use in, let's say, 6 months. You know, is it 45 pounds, 1 pound? I don't know. I know it's an awful lot because I had to break into my, what is it there? I've got it right beside me. Into my art glitter glue. I had to break into a new one. Oh yeah, just the 2 ounce. I ended up using 2 ounces. So that's not that bad. And I like to try out other glues too. I like the tonic glue. I really like the glue from Lawn Fawn, except for the Lawn Fawn glue, you don't get a lot in it. So it's not 2 ounces, that's for sure, I don't think. And the printing's so small, as an old person, I just can't read it. It's too tiny. 3 ounces. There, 3 or 5? 3. 3 ounces. I bet you I'd find that in a second and be able to read it if they told me I was getting some craft supplies for being able to find it quickly. Yeah, just kidding. Oh, I've seen so many nice craft supply videos, like craft products. Just Anna Griffin has 3 of the most beautiful Christmas dies I've ever seen, and Christmas papers that are over the edge beautiful. Now Angie from from LDRS Creative, she has now produced 12 by 12 papers, which is amazing, and new Christmas things are coming out with LDRS Creative, so that's good to check that out as well. And so many things online. I try to not stay on there too much because your wanter starts to overreact, and that's not good. You know, I want to be thankful for all the stuff I have stored in my craft room. I want to use it. Here is my rose gold paper. I'm going to put thanks on there. And, well, that's funny. I wore my rose gold watch. That's weird. Yeah. I didn't even think of it when I put it on. There you go. And look at that. That's one pass, my friends, right down into that magnet plate. I think it's wonderful. Thank you, Gail, for telling me that. I tell you what. And it's funny that Anna Griffin does the same thing now. And the emboss, you know, you worry that you don't have that squeegee pad thing that makes the emboss marks. But if you turn it down into your magnet plate, it embosses. So you don't have to worry about running it through again with that squishy thing. It works beautifully. This doesn't have any emboss. I don't know why I brought that up, but you know, it came to my brain, so that's good. I'm just going to ghost the gold on the black because I used the black as a backdrop onto the watercolor paper. I love the wonky stitch die there that I cut it out with, and I'm just surprised that I didn't snip out the edges with my corner trimmer punch thing. I didn't do that, I see. And that's the beauty, you know, when somebody does an edit and a voiceover. You're watching. This is the following day that I did the 2-day edit. This is the following day. So when I'm looking at it, I can't remember what I left in there, you know, and what order it went in. I was going to break it up where I put the cards first, and then I did another video with the envelopes, but that's not the way I created this. I created this going back and forth like I always do. I bounce here, I bounce there. I make a card, I make an envelope. I'll make a sandwich, I'll make another card. Then I'll have, you know, crackers and kielbasa. What can I tell you? I'm all over. There's those little things I'm talking about. So I did have to cut some down because it didn't fit. Look at me here. It's like squeezing into one of my dresses from last year. It's like a sausage going. Sorry. That visual is just too gross for me to even compare. Yeah, it fits. It just about fits. Why can't I get this zipper up? You know, I used to wear this skirt last year. Why can't I zip it up? Probably because you've had like 14 too many subs. How's that one? Maybe 19 too many donuts. I don't know. Although I'm not a donut eater. If you've watched my tours, you know I don't eat sweets that often. I am a carb fanatic. Butter, bread, potatoes, all that good stuff. Yeah. I'd rather throw a bunch of mashed potatoes in a bowl than have chocolate cake. You know? That's how crazy I am. There we go. And I didn't mention this, but I like to put 2 cards inside my envelope when I close it. See, I didn't do it. You want to have room that your card is going to go in there. And I didn't on this, although it did go in. I was thankful. I don't know if I left it in the edit, but generally, before I close my envelopes, I make sure I put 2 cards down. Then I close the 2 sides, and then I put the tape on and close the bottom so that it's a little roomy in there. You know? Oh yeah, look at that. I did use the punch on these. We are moving on. What are we going to do here? It's not the bunnies, it's a butterfly. Yes. Isn't it? Can you, oh, and it's a sip of Pepsi-Cola, I think, or Coca-Cola, one of the two. You know, I try to get off my Coca-Cola, so I go to Pepsi. And then I start liking Pepsi. There's no winning. Oh, look at me go there. Yeah. And another thing, if you haven't watched my tutorials, I don't know if you'll come back after all this craziness, but I put orthodontic wax on the end of my pick stick because it's really sticky, really sticky orthodontic wax. It's inexpensive. It'll last you forever. I'm working on the same little glob of ortho wax on the end of my pick stick from a year ago. And I'm not kidding. No, that is absolutely brilliant. I'm glad you thought of it, Carol. Thank you. Yes. So, you know, working in the orthodontic field, yeah, gotta think of everything. As soon as I see something, it's just like, oh, I gotta run and see if I can get that or somewhere. Like, that's fabulous idea. Yeah. So here we go. 2 of them. Look at that. 1, 2. I did 2 of everything. So I did 2 butterflies, 2 bunnies, and 2 beautiful hummingbirds. Yes. And now I am going to wet down my wonderful gift from my sister, these metallic paints. Thank you again, Barb, because I know you do watch my tutorials. You know, you can always bribe your family. You can cry and make them feel sorry for you. Please watch my video. Yeah, so anyway. That's why I'm so thankful, because I know that I don't get the views that probably because the time is ridiculous, you know, 2.5 hours. I mean, wow. It's like War and Peace or Gone with the Wind. You could read Gone with the Wind faster than you can going through my tutorial. It's nuts, isn't it? So here I grabbed this piece of Xyron backing. It's kind of like wax paper, and I threw some paint on there and squished it onto my page because I love that drip look, you know. And then I dripped more color down onto the paper, and then I'll spray it and add more color and spray it, and I'll move it exactly how I like it. I love drip lines. I love that look. I like anything that doesn't have rhyme nor reason. That's why I like mixed media, because it's like, okay, let's just put it all down on this glorious mat that I bought. This is great. It's so funny. My husband bought me a vintage retro fridge for up here in my craft room. And he saw this mat sitting up on top of my Copic marker. I have 2 units that I store them in on my island. And he saw it up there and he said, hey, can I shove that underneath the fridge just to move it, you know, like to get it off there? And I'm there, no! Don't touch that mat, please! And he said, what is it? Doesn't look like anything much to me. And I said, I know your wrenches don't look very much pleasing to me either, but you use them. I said, that's my paint mat. You can't touch that. Get. You could lose your fingers doing that, I tell ya. We crafters, we don't put up with stuff like that. Isn't that amazing? I love that look. I love this look. I really do. And it's just moving your paint back and forth and all over the place. Yes, I'm really not a violent person, but you know, if you take any of my craft stuff off my island, I do get a little testy. So here we go. Green on green. We got the green thing going on, so I made the envelopes green. And I thought, okay, why don't we do just a couple? Now, just a couple of, I'm doing my wonky die thing, die cutting it. And then I'm going to use a few of those, I can't remember what you call those dots. Remember, I don't know if you remember this. Well, of course you do. If you're watching this video, you're a crafter. When we got the oven thing and we melted those little toys we got at the dollar store, those little plastic things, and we put them in there. And I remember doing that. Yeah, I remember that I smoked my kitchen up so bad. It smelled like plastic for a week. Yeah, I had it too hot. And oh, what a mess. What a mess I had with that. But I do have some in storage that I did make, some small ones and, you know, large ones. I should get them out. I forgot all about those. And there you have that beautiful stitch. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm pretty sure it's called the Wonky Stitch Die. I have to look it up who makes that. Sometimes I just rip off the covers. I haven't got a clue who makes it. I just know where to get it, and I'm happy with that I can remember. So that's a good thing. Here we go. So I went into one of our hardware stores here in town, and I was picking up some things I ordered for my barbecue, my new barbecue. I'm loving it, by the way. And I asked them if they had sheets, and they said no, they don't have magnet sheets. Because I thought you could get a roll of it, you know, like 6 feet by 9 feet. I would cut it up. Maybe there was something that houses needed that was like Tyvek, you know. And I said, well, do you have the register covers? So they didn't have those, but I do know at your big box stores, the big ones, they sell magnet register covers. So sometimes you can get, you know, like 10 in a pack, and they'll be on sale. So I didn't want to go out and get that, but that's why I asked our hardware store here in town. But if you're looking for it, there's magnet register covers. They obviously, sometimes, you know, unless you have wooden register covers, if they're metal, the magnet sticks to them, and then you don't have to worry about the heat coming through in certain rooms or whatever. You can get the magnet covers. So I wasn't able to get them anyway. But I thought of it when I was in there. Now this is, who made this one? Is this New? I don't have it with me. It could be. It has all crafty sayings on it. And I wanted to use one of them. Keep calm and make cards. I didn't use that one, but I can read it. So that's nice because I fast forwarded a bit and it's jiggling all over the place. So anyway, I've got my 3 round gumball things there. And now my saying, something to do with crafty friends, I can remember that. Crafty friends are the best kind of friends or something like that. And they are. So let's get that as even as I can. Love my Fiskars stamp press. Love it. I love this thing as much as I like the positioners, the stamp positioner things, the Tim Holtz thing, you know, with the window that presses down. I have a spare Fiskars press right behind me. It's brand new. I bought it last year. I haven't had to use it yet because if this thing ever breaks or cracks or does something crazy on me, I have to have one right on hand, you know. It's so funny because here I'm just using gold embossing powder, by the way. Crafty friends are the best friends. See, I did remember that. And what was I saying? I bought that with you too, Janet. I remember that. I bought Buffalo Stamp and stuff in the round bin. Yes, before you go out the door there. Let's see. See, I was thinking about something else and I lost my train of thought. That's terrible. But it'll come to me. Always does. So I'm going to put some crafty glue behind there, stick it down. I did on the background there, I took out the corners as well. That looks kind of nice. I'm going to put it on that creamy, dreamy cardstock. It's 110 pound. Love that. I don't know why I never use that. I see it every time I go to my paper organizer. I see it there. It wasn't opened or anything. Yeah. So I'm using it now, and I'll probably use it in the future. I had to take some off because I knew this would not fit into my, that thing right there. The dust savers, that's what I call them. Now, I had this idea. This is just gonna crack you up. This is something that I had, oh, Pepsi. This is something that I had in a paint bucket thing that I had, and it came out. It was down. I was walking around looking for something that was circular. So I found that, and I was going to make my own wreath with tiny little either butterflies or bunnies. And I was going to use Catherine Pooler inks. And so I had to get out my Catherine Pooler swatches. And here I get to practice my brush lettering when I do swatches. I put what colors they are, and then on the back, which collection. So, yeah, so spa collection. This was the spa collection green, because Catherine has all different, you know, whatever. Look at, a lot of them aren't even opened yet. I'm a full set syndrome gal, so I don't get around to opening some of the things. I just put it in the pile and where I store them, and Catherine's inks are right up to the left of me, along with LDRS Creative inks, the hybrid inks. I have to have those right by my hand. Love hybrid inks. But Catherine's inks are very juicy, and they're a great dye ink. So they're nice to have close by as well. So here we go. I thought, okay, I'm going to cut all the way around the actual geometric shape so that the gold shows through. And we're going to put that on the inside of the card. It's just something that if you have something that's geometrical in shape like this, you can cut around it and add it to the inside with a sentiment. I'm making sure that there's no little bubbles or anything in my washi tape, because this is washi tape. And I encourage you, if you see the washi tape, that this 5.5 inch one is great to die cut so many things. And if you don't, put them down in strips right across a piece of paper and die cut from that. Die cut all your images, all of your beautiful border dies, well, you can stamp on it as well, but die cutting with it is fantabulous. I just love it. So I'm doing the think thing. I put it on the top part, so I'm going to have something on the bottom. Oh, there it comes. Look at the match on that. Isn't that wonderful? You get a washi tape and then you just splat some watercolor paper. Because I love metallic, I love anything metallic, if you're working with, metallic images. And here I'm just, driving myself crazy getting all the glue just on the right spots of this butterfly. I tell you, this takes a steady hand, doesn't it? And I always wipe it down on a paper towel. Then I'll put my paper towel over on my envelope and get glue all over the place. I didn't there, but generally that's what I do, and I have to get a baby wipe and clean it all up and blow it dry. But I didn't do it there. That's what happens, isn't it? When you're working and you have so much all around you, and then you put that pin there to the left, you just put it down and you'll never find it again. You won't. It won't be on the surface at all. I don't know where it goes. I don't understand it. But here we go. I grabbed a bunch of paper and set it on top of one another. So now I have to go and put them back in color order. I just grabbed, I don't know where that Christmas little vintage paper came from. Must have been stuck on one of the papers. I'm just looking for a backdrop that's close to the color of the die cut that I used on top. So that's what I was doing there. Sometimes when you do an edit, you know, you don't know, you forget where you slice it. And I knew it was going to take me most of the day to do the voiceover. So I just, whatever's in here is staying in here, you know. That old saying, you know, what goes in Carol's craft room stays in Carol's craft room. I don't know. It goes something like that. And I truly believe that's so. So happy. I was thinking just doing happy, happy, happy. Happy. We need to be happy. There's so many things going on that if you lose your happy, you've had it. You have got to remain happy. And I said, hold on to your happy. And I was thinking about that because some days it's hard for me to hang on to my happy. I have to be happy with my family, happy with myself, first of all. And the Lord helps me with my happy. And there we go. Now, I took my gold pen, but I ended up, I wanted it, the little dash lines to be more prominent. So I grabbed my Signal broad pen. There it is. See, I pretty well know what I'm going to do. And I went dotting around this little punch. I love my punches. I couldn't get rid of my punches. I know people say they want to, you know, empty out their craft room, get rid of all their punches. I couldn't be without mine because there will be a day I'll need a punch. Well, not a punch in the head, just a punch. I don't know where these crazy things come out of my brain, but if they're there, I gotta let them out. You can't hold things in. You just have to let it out. Even if it's on one of my videos, I just let it go. Let it go, man. Don't even worry about it because if you store it, you get over storage and, you know, you'll explode. You don't want that. So I just say what I'm thinking sometimes, and I just appreciate everybody that watches my videos. Everybody. And I haven't seen a few friends, some comments, so I'm hoping that soon I am going to, they'll be watching a little bit and they'll comment so that I know they're okay. So we shall see, you know. I really appreciate the people that comment to me because that means they took time to view my tutorials. That means so much to me. And when I watch a tutorial, I make sure that I leave a little thank you note. Oh, here we go. I used this stamp, I think, in a project before. Maybe not. It just looks, oh yeah, look at that. I put the wrong pin in that one to the left, and it turned my glue, which was only on the bottom, by the way. It was almost gone. That rusty color. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have the right metallic pin that goes down into your glue. I can't remember how that goes, but I now know which pins I can use, so I keep them close by because I'm always dropping my pins in the garbage. So here we go. I'm going to leave this link for this die because this is the stamp. This is the sweetest stamp ever. Fiskar Stamp Press, of course. And I'm giving it, you know, my full pressing, you know, that my muscles. I'm putting all my muscles into this, and then here comes the clear embossing powder, and that's a must. I forgot to put the baby wipe down, so I was super happy that I didn't have more of a mess of powder than I do have here. I don't like to forget it. I should almost put it right in front of my face, but I do have a lot of things in front of my face that I don't read, and so, you know, what's the point of that, right? So I always put, I have a sign that says, start camcorder. Yeah, I'll get working and I look up and it's green. That means it's not going. It has to be red. The dot has to be red. And so now I have a piece of paper there, and then I'll look up and it's green. I didn't read the paper. It's right in front of my face on my tripod. It's crazy. So here we go. We're going to heat set this. Now, is this not the most beautiful little stamp? You can, oh, what did I get out here? Oh, I got my Tombow. These are those Tombow art and, oh, they have the rubber end on them. I'm trying to read it here. Art and graphic. Art and graphic. Twin markers. Look at that. I was able to read that. Art and graphic twin markers. And the end, the point on it is not little hairs. It is rubber. And I love them, and I haven't used them in forever. So I thought, come on, let's get out. Yeah, I'm going to put you to some good use. So that's what I did, and I'm just checking first to see what colors I'm working with. Now, this was amazing. I colored the fence the brown. I didn't like it. So I went to my, it's just with the black, it wasn't doing it for me. I'm going to tell you, if you have a vintage fence stamp or a die, and you want it to make it, you want to make it look vintage, I'll tell you what you use. You use the distress markers. I think it's called Picket Fence, the white distress crayon, the distress crayons, and you crayon that on, and then you put clear embossing powder over the crayon right away, and it has all the little grooves. You color that crayon right over top of these art and graphic twin Tombow pens. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful. Wait till you see the result on that with that crayon. It's just beautiful. That's all I can say. And then the foliage, you don't have much to color because it's really small. And you can take this, and I could have went right across, like right across the page. Just kept going with the same. There it is, my distress crayons. Love my distress crayons. Why I don't use them more, I don't know, because I love them. I did a canvas using distress markers, and I made all of my birch trees with the distress markers, and that's one of my favorite canvases that I did. Birch trees, I love birch trees. I love painting birch trees, coloring birch trees, drawing birch trees. They're just gorgeous. Something about them. There's something about that mixed media look of them, you know, with their, with the bark all peeled back, and I love it. Just love it. So to bring out the white, I put yellow behind there. Yellow will bring out white in the background if you have something like flowers behind there. It works for me all the time, so I thought I'll add a bit of that. And here's my clear. This is what I tell you. Clear. Don't be afraid to clear emboss anything that when you stamp it, it's still wet. Get it on there. Just do it. It'll work. I'm telling you. Watch. Yes, I'm a woman of my word. Look at that. It will dry. Now, dye inks. If you get dye ink and you put it down and it just is a little wet, you know, you put it in your positioner and you give it another one, right away have that there. And you could probably get it. Look at this. Does that not look like, I think I slowed it down just so you could see the picket fence on here. Look at that. Doesn't it look real, like an old picket fence? I don't know why when you lay this down, you can't get the true look of it. But when you hold it up, you know, away from the light, it looks like a raggedy, rickety old fence post, and vintagey, just gorgeous. So get your distress markers out and distress your picket fences. You'll love it. And I think the one I used is called Picket Fence, the white one, the white crayon in there. You'll just love it. Now, I wanted to use this Blessed. I love this stamp. I love the font. How much was that? Let me see, $6.50. I know I got this at Buffalo Stamp and Stuff. So, Sharon, if you're watching this, I sure do miss you. I can't get over there, but I send you greetings. And yeah, so I wanted to put the butterfly up on the top in the gold. I just think it's dreamy. And I wanted to put Blessed down to the right-hand side. I just love I love the word smile and I love the word blessed. Oh, I didn't even do what I said. I put it on top. Look at that. I should have looked at my cards. They're right beside me. So there you have it. There's 3 things. You want to do things in, get that? Yep, let's go. And that is the detailed black. So the detailed black will emboss immediately because it's nice and juicy. I'm trying to find it here to see what kind of ink that is. It's the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and it's pigment ink. So we all know that pigment inks give you a little time to get that powder on. It doesn't dry quickly like a dye ink. So the hybrid inks also give you time to put your embossing powder on, whether it be clear, whatever color. And I love the look of that, especially on metallic paper. I think it looks gorgeous. And you know, the reason why I can design all these things, there's no stamps going on these envelopes. They're all going into a box. I have the box halfway done. I can't wait to show it to you. It's the simplest box to make, and it will match the designs on my cards and envelopes. So here I'm just making sure that all the envelopes fit into my sleeves here, and some of them didn't, so I set them aside, got out my cutter. And you need to give them, excuse me, enough space. See, I knew I had to cut that down. You need to give them enough space, especially if you have sequins, right? Because they stick up. And yeah. So how many do we have done now? 1, 2, 3. 3 envelopes to go, I think. No, that's 4 envelopes there. We have 2 more envelopes to go, so it's not that bad. If you're still staying with me, I so appreciate it. So I went and got this is like Glossy Accents. It's the 3D Crystal Lacquer at Heartfelt Creation. And I love this. It's really wet. It comes out, you know, with, I always cut the tip just a little bit bigger so that I can get more out at one time. I know some people like it coming out fine. But if I'm going to do larger items, I don't do that with my other lacquer. I keep it, you know, a fine tip on the end. But this one, I just cut it a little bit, and I'm going to put that on. Sometimes I like to cover the actual die image, and sometimes I like to leave it exposed, the die cut exposed. So because I cut this and it's coming a little faster, I was just glad it stayed in the lines. I didn't care whether it went one way or another. And if you want to color this now before it dries, sprinkle in your embossing powder color right over top, and it will dry beautiful like stained glass. You can get all different colors and just sprinkle them right over top. Don't get a paintbrush and try to get that embossing powder, move it all over the place. Just leave it. If you have some of those little, what are those little ball things that are in little bottles here? I don't have mine right with me. The prills. You could sprinkle prills on your butterfly here to get a stained glass look right over top and let it dry overnight, and it'll look beautiful. There's so many things you can add to your crystal lacquer there while it's still wet. And then I did some of the flowers, and then I'm going to go back, and I thought, you know what, this needed to brighten up this beautiful hummingbird. So I went back and did the hummingbird, and it dries well over top of our Burt's Bees hand cream that I put over top of it. And it's like the Distress glaze. So anyway, yeah. I was just watching myself. I got mesmerized in watching me fill in this little void. I love hummingbirds. Oh, we have some that come to the back of well, it was the barn area here, and there's a particular bush that has these little flowers there, and they just loved that. But we tore down our barn. That was our second barn on the farm, and so anyway, I had to move my hummingbird feeder farther back so I don't get to see I just keep filling it up, and it's being emptied, so there's something eating it. Probably the deer licking it out. That'd be funny. I wouldn't go past deer. They'll just eat that, drink that right up. They probably love it. It's nice and sweet. So here we go. I'm going to take some of my, I'm just trying to get out what's on the bottom. It's hardly anything left in this bottle. And that 2 ounces went a long way, I must say. And I think it's because I change up to other glues. So I'm going to take my finger once again, that I don't like to do. And because I always stick my finger in something else. I'll go to grab an envelope or something crazy without wiping my finger off first. Drives me nuts. Oh, we're back to this envelope. Okay, I just said forget the wreath, because I have wreath dies. So I thought, no, why go to that much work? Let's just do this. So these are the round, let's see, I'll get them out as I'm talking. They're fillers for a slimline card I bought. And it's called, they can work for anything. They don't have to be for a slimline. But if you have a circular slimline card, it works well. It's called Ina Moriba. That's the name. That's who it's designed by. And it's by Pink Fresh Studio. So we all know Pink Fresh Studio. And these were $20.99 Canadian. So they'll probably be much less American. They're called floral circles. There's florals inside the die cut. There's leaves and flowers. You can see it all there. So I thought, oh, I don't want to use this. That I was going to do a shaker, and I thought there's too many holes there for a shaker. So I thought of designing the card with it around too much. Didn't like it. Didn't like that at all. Yeah. When you have 6 and it's not if you did it to the side with 5 of the circles, it wouldn't have been that bad. But so what I did was, I know what I did. I wanted to use up stash, so I went to my alcohol inks. I got a piece of acetate out, grabbed my alcohol inks, and I went into the fall colors there. Put down one of my yellow papers and so I could see the colors properly. And these are my extra colors that I have in that little box. You can store them in the tin box, like I do have the tin boxes, and you can store them in there. But I grabbed these first, and then I realized I needed some extra colors. So here I just put down the, that liquid that makes it go crazy like that. Isn't that awesome? It looks so scientific, doesn't it? I put some of that mixture down, and I'll figure out what that mixture is. Blending solution. See, it came right to my mind. And now I'm taking my Copic air gun. I turned on the compressor, and I started blowing the air, blowing all of this, blowing all of this alcohol ink all over the place with, you can do it with a straw. It's just that it's right beside me. So these are the tins, the Tim Holt tins you can keep your alcohol inks in. And I just needed a couple extra colors, so I opened that one up. And I'm going to, isn't that pretty? And I wanted this as a backdrop for those round circles. I put the cream colored cardstock, then I cut circles out of the acetate, and I put the cream, then the acetate, then the circle die. So 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. I really like this green, so I had to add it to that. It's kind of a true green. And I'm just spraying it with my air gun, and yeah, I love the way it pushes out the color on the edges. I just love that. So I got them back out, and I'm going to die cut the cream paper. I think I cut right through the acetate and the cream paper in one pass. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm just going to set it down. And I'm really particular where I set those circles too. I went into my stash and I got a set of circle dies. And pumpkin pie and cream whip, dream whip, cream whip, dream whip, pumpkin pie. That's what I was having a little break. And here we go. So you have the cream color underneath, the cream paper. Then you have the acetate with your alcohol blending inks. And then I put the actual die cuts because they're leaves and flourish, you know, flowers, and it's beautiful. And they're intricate, that which matches the washi tape with the lines, with the geometrical lines. So I really did love this. It seemed to all go together. Then I'm going to glue them down and, yeah, press it, get them all over to one side, and then we're going to put them on the new envelope. I made a new envelope, and we're going to go at it and design another envelope. So I managed to cut a little bit of time back, so that's good. I put 3 of these inked circles with this, the die, the circle dies with the foliage on them. Then I'll put that gold butterfly on there. I did take it out of the edit, but it will go up there. And then I put the geometrical shape that we cut out around the edges on the top of the card, and we are going. I was going to make this with love. Then I thought with sympathy. I wasn't sure. I tried to make each card a different sentiment, with a different sentiment. So I almost have to wait until that's done because all my cards are wrapped and inside the envelope, so I can't really go back and look at it. And I had that fancy little filigree piece in gold up there. I thought I would incorporate that somewhere, but I ended up not using it. Isn't that funny? With so much going on, I'm surprised that I didn't. Then I grabbed some turquoise Nouveau drops, and I'm going to put a little bit, because this is closing down on die cuts and punched out images, you don't want to put a large drop of it on there. But the small ones, they stayed true. I just kept it open overnight, and they're still, I took them out of the packaging and checked them, and they still have the little hill on them, so that's lovely. And I thought this is an addition to use your Nouveau drops. And I don't know, I really did try my best with these 6 cards, 6 envelopes to incorporate stash items for you. So you can see how easy it is to grab a little bit of this. I did A2 cards. Hold on to your happy. There couldn't be a more true statement, right? Now, I put the Nouveau drops down on the antenna, and I didn't like it. It wasn't the right color. I don't even know what I was thinking. There's nothing fall about that. The turquoise with all of that foliage color of fall. And you can see down there I had put this little bit of a twig. It was a sticker twig. I took it off. I didn't like it. Even though there's 4 elements on there, I just had to take it off. It just didn't go. Now we're working the bunny, and I'm working with pink and gray. So I'm just going to add, I wet down the 140-pound watercolor paper, and just testing out the color to see what I like and what I don't like. And let me just see. I just made a piece of toast, 2 pieces of French bread toast, and then I slapped some honey on it so it helped my throat. So I'm hoping it will start to help. I was running out of talking ability. That's really, I can't believe it. But I was. So here we go. I am just using the paper to push down, you know, some of the watercolor that was on top. I'm going to, like I said, remember I said I had wreath dies? So I took one of them out. I'll try to remember to post everything that I used at the end of this. I really liked this. It's a 2-set wreath die. Sorry. It's really pretty, isn't it? And I used it with the pink and gray watercolor that we just mixed up there. And you can die cut later. I saved this piece. You can die cut a sentiment from that. So many things you can do with it. And like I said, you can use your little vacuum and suck these little pieces up. I don't know if I kept it in the edit, but that's what I've been doing lately. And that little vacuum works wonderful. Once again, a Martha Stewart punch with these little rabbits. I put the rabbits in vellum, and then I tried some putting the paint on it, but they really did like wrap themselves up. So I decided to just go down into the Catherine Pooler ink of pink, the pink ink, and it turned out wonderful. I really like the look. And some I left plain, and this is just to go around the wreath. I did this envelope. It is a strange style, as I didn't keep it, kind of muted. I did go over the edge with it a little bit, but I did like it because all I could think of was the LDRS Creative Bunny stamp set that had the carrots in it. And I really did want to incorporate the carrots. Isn't that a beautiful wreath with the watercolor metallic paint? Die cutting it with that and making sure that you situate the dies so they get the pink bow. I think it's really pretty. And just leaving those bunnies in vellum, just like that, is stunning. And then maybe if you put, you punched out a gold bunny like I did down by the bow, would look really elegant just to leave it. You can see on the bunnies I did use my water brush, my watercolor brush, and I did put some turquoise paint on them, pink and turquoise in the background. But I wanted a few to really stand out because I'm going to Copic color some carrots. So you've got the orange contrast with the red, which is not complementary at all. But oh, look at that, I used an orange dry dowel. Yeah, so oh, that's funny. I didn't even realize that. But I took gold and I took off that bunny and put a clear bunny. I'm pretty sure I did. I didn't leave it like that. But yeah, so it just gives you something if you want to just press your vellum into an ink pad. And because Catherine Pooler inks are juicy, it's called It's a Girl Pink. And yeah, so I'm just holding it down so it doesn't curl and I can keep the glue on it. Yeah, see, I put a clear one over top of the gold punch out with the Martha Stewart Bunny punch. And I kept it, I think, just the one pink gold and the rest turquoise. I landed my other bunny over in the corner. And, oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. This, oh, I don't even know why I took that off. Boy, I'm really confusing myself, and I'm the one that made it. This isn't the one that I put the carrots on. It's our next creation. It's not this one. But I did put a nice sentiment in there. I really like the sentiment inside the wreath. Yeah. So here's the bunny, the pink and the yellow. I love pink and yellow together. I just think it's just so lovely. It's just a beautiful combo. You can do so much with it. And this washi tape, like I said, it just looks like you did that yourself. And it's 5.5-inch washi tape. I'm going to set this little bunny down. You don't need much, do you? I know I took out some really bright sequins. That does ring a bell, that I went to some bright sequins that I had in my stash. And like I said, this is like a stash thing. That's the baby powder. I sprinkled baby powder on there. I must have been stamping or something. I put it all over my hands. But I slowed the tutorial down because I was going just a bit too fast. You couldn't see a thing. I put some runner on there, as you can see to the right, the Scotch runner. And then I put some liquid glue. I'm going to put this pink down on the white. And the reason why I used the baby powder here was that sometimes when you make your own cards and you're folding over the cardstock over the one piece, it gets sticky. The double-sided tape, you know, might be showing. And so you just put some baby powder on. It takes the sticky away and you don't have to redo your card base. And you don't want anything sticky back there that things will, you know, gravitate to. So here's our little bunny on top of the inside section on the white. It's just so clean. It's so clean and it's so simplistic. It's actually very elegant. Now I'm taking my stamp. I did all the cards with Created, especially for you by Carol Held. I put it on the bottom because I'm planning to give this box of cards and envelopes away. So yeah, I put that on there just so people know that I did make it especially for whoever would receive this. I have another giveaway for my LDRS Creative project with the last release. Remember, I made the album, or yeah, the book, the album, and it was a recipe book, and I'm going to finish that so we can give that away. And just so much I want to do as far as giveaways and things, but I think I said I'm short 78 subscribers or something like that to reach my 20,000 goal, and I'm really going to do a huge giveaway for that. So once we reach that, my friends, yeah, I really like to give away more than one thing, because I know that there's so many people that comment, and to just have a chance to, you know, be sent one thing, it's crazy. So I like to make sure, especially for a great celebration of 20,000, I really wanted to go crazy. So you remember at Christmas, I bought all of those gifts to give away, and I am going, and I put a little you and then a big inspire me to be better. This was in the set off to the left there, that floral set. That's where I got the inspire, and I may have pulled the you and to be better person from another set. That was kind of my theme. I know that I did put clear embossing powder over you and me to be better, and I used my VersaFine black. So that's why I know I did use the, oh, I'm putting I'm putting ice cubes in my, I freeze my Coca-Cola glasses so they're frozen. Then I have little ice cubes up here in my new fridge, and I'm pouring myself a Coca-Cola. Yeah, isn't that pathetic? Look at that. Oh, it's making me thirsty already, so I think I'll have a sip. Yeah, so anyway, I had these, there's pink in there in this mix. So I just kind of looked for the clear and the pink and put down these tiny sequins. I used a few big ones, but mainly they're the tiny little pink ones. And it's so pretty. It's such a delicate little card, isn't it? I like the way the corners are punched out like that. I like the inside. It just gives you an option, even though it is the same. It's just backed with the pink paper. I think it just stands out that you could put anything on there. I use this one as a thank you. I love the font on this stamp. And I know that Charlene, I know you're waiting for me to do some brush lettering tutorial, and I will get at that. I have a real special brush lettering project that I want to do for you on YouTube, but it's going to take me a while of practice, a little bit here. I'm going to get to it, and I want to wait until I put that up, and then I want to have the right name. So I'm going to probably pick out a name when you leave a comment here on this tutorial, and if you want me to send you a card and with this card envelope that I'm making. I think it's so beautiful. I saw it on YouTube and I thought I could do that. I could do that with my brush lettering skills. I think I have enough skill to do, because I like to draw, that I could, you know, this woman really inspired me with her drawing and her brush lettering, and I'll leave a link when I put that up. So if you would like to just tell me in this comment, I love to hear, like, which one of these cards did you find exceptionally, I don't know, like a card that you would want to make? Is it the bunnies? Is it the butterfly? Or is it the beautiful hummingbird? Which one do you like? I'd love to hear that. Some people really like bunnies, and what do bunnies do best? They create bunnies. So I wanted to use up my punch bunnies that I made out of the vellum, and I wanted to put some gold. I did line this because I had extra pink paper. That's a fun thing to do. And here's my LDRS Creative die stamp set with the bunnies. I loved it. This is from LDRS Creative as well, this fence. It's the most beautiful fence ever. I love it. Look at that. So I thought I'm going to put a fence there. And I had so much fun with this envelope, you know. I went back. See how I go back? I'm back and forth. And it says, have a good hair day. So I thought that was funny. We all need a good hair day, don't we? And I'm going to, of course, I'm going to try to flip this over fast. Yeah, that's what I did. Just so I didn't have it down into my wreath. And I'm going to heat set that. I love have a good hair day. H-A-R-E. Cute pun. Very cute. And I had the carrots. I just loved this set for the carrots. It has carrots coming out of the ground. I could have used that. But it also has a full-blown carrot. And I wanted to put that along the fence and fill in some of the bunnies there on the other card. So there's the gold, the wreath, the pink, the turquoise. Now I'll set that aside and I'm Copic coloring the wonderful carrots. And even though the card is gold and pink, the envelope in gray, you can't get away with not having an orange carrot. So I just went with it, you know. Sometimes you just have to. It's like bunnies and carrots. They just go together. And I couldn't put a pink carrot down there, so I went with the realistic look. I loved it, up against the fence and down in the ground, kind of the bottom of the envelope. I thought it was really cute. And this way you get to do a tiny bit of Copic coloring. Nothing complicated. I just did 2 different greens and 2 different oranges, light and the dark. That was it. And I have to say I love the Encore Gold ink. I really do love it. I just opened a fresh one. My other one, I used so much of it that it ended up being dry, so I had to take the packaging off this one. And I'm not quite sure what I used that for. I think it was the sentiment. I did a sentiment in the Encore Gold. So we're just going to finish these little carrots up, and it doesn't bother me at all. I know I talk about it. Sometimes you say if you talk about something so much it does bother you, but it doesn't. This is like carrots and bunnies, and it's fun. This is a giveaway set, and I think it'd be very nice to have in your stash to give to people. And like I said, I will wait because I want to do a lot of giveaways. And that's not far away, you know. And then there's this stamp set with grass and little flowers. So I just did the green on the bottom, it back and forth. You can see how I work that way. I don't stick with one particular thing. If I'm looking at a card and I think it needs something else, I'll just grab it and set the other thing I was working on aside. I work back and forth, back and forth. So it works for me, right? It just has to work for you. And I was really happy with the whole set that came out, especially for somebody that doesn't do A2 size cards. You really, you know, you get intimidated by small spaces. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm used to working on larger cards, you know, 6x8, 6x6. So when I get pulled into a smaller space, and Angie Hunt, she's on at 7 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays, and she works with A2 cards. And that's what inspired this giveaway set right here, is her ability to work in small spaces. She can make a whole scene, describe the whole story, and it's beautiful. You would not think it was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch space. You wouldn't. So I thought to myself, thank you, Ange, I'm going to do that myself. And that's what the inspiration came to do this box set. And I'm thankful that she does A2 size cards. And I kept looking at them, you know, as she was creating and thinking to myself, that can't be an A2 size card. Look at that beautiful scenery all in that space. So, you know, there is something to be said in working in small spaces just as much as it is working in larger cards and larger spaces. So, yeah, just wanted to share that. And I put the glossy accents or the crystal glaze in the bunnies and also on the carrots. Now I had to go back out and get some of my slide lock packaging because I do put all of my new stamps, if it's a collection or whatever, and all of my pieces parts, I will put a sticker on the outside of it with what's on the inside. All my leftover pieces to this particular project will go in a slide envelope like this. This is a letter size, and I buy the legal size for larger stamps and dies and leftovers that I have. See, it comes in that size too. That looks like a crayon box, doesn't it? You know, that kind of long and narrow. And I was going to use these on my A2 size cards to link up. You die cut two pieces. The butterflies link together. They slide and lock, as does the hearts. And I was going to use the butterflies, and I chose not to. I thought that because I had to squeeze them into those dust protector bags, I didn't want to have any more bulk, so I chose to leave those out. But here we go. Each card is different as far as creativity. It uses different stash products, but yet it goes together with this geometrical A2 size washi tape cards with the Tim Holtz slimline dies. So slimline dies, they're the Thinlits, excuse me. So here we go. I'm just finding all the bags, putting the envelopes in the bags, getting them ready to each go in a separate envelope. I really love creating envelopes that don't have to be mailed out because you don't have to leave room for stamps and the signatures, right, to where it's going and who it was from. You get to actually decorate like it was a card. So there's a lot of decoration going on here, but I had a blast doing it for you. I do hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did creating it for you. I always think of you when I'm creating. I don't think of it as my concentration is just on the creative, what I'm creating, you know, the creative cards. I think of you as viewing it. Will you get inspiration from it? Will you enjoy the colors, the size, the envelopes, you know? Hold on to your happy. That's a cute one too. And I love the cream. Isn't the cream pretty with the yellow and green? And everything I chose because, not because I haven't used it, or because I bought it and I loved it when I bought it. So you don't have to necessarily have what's new on the market. Go back and use your loved products because you loved them when you bought them. So forget the buying and go back and grab what you loved at the time you bought it and use that up, because I really think you'll enjoy that. It's just reminiscing on who you bought this with, where you were, you know, what your thoughts were when you did pick it up. I think that all plays in. Oh, I'm having an iced tea. So, my mind goes off just like a butterfly, doesn't it? It's here, there, or in the air. Now, I have to tell you, as I'm putting these sequins, remember I said I took the Nouveau off of the butterfly? I replaced them with some green and gold sequins, tiny ones on the antenna and that. But I have to tell you this story because we're getting up to the part. I was taking care of my son's house on the lake, and my girlfriend Kathy came down and we spent the weekend in his home because they weren't there, and it's right on the beach. And I noticed when I was doing the dishes that there was a butterfly in this mason jar and it didn't have holes in the top. I said, Kathy, quick, give me a knife. There's no holes for this butterfly to breathe in the top. I can't believe you put a butterfly in there. And Kathy said, Carol, that's not a real butterfly. I said, what? No, can't you see the little metal strip? And I'm telling you, it was not real, and it looked real. So I had to go out and buy all of them. Look, there they are. Okay, you take the lid off, you turn on the battery, and then you just touch it. And that, you can kind of see the strip of metal like it's attached to. Look at that monarch. And you only press it once. Now watch, it'll flutter without touching it. That is a firefly. The back end lights up green. Watch. You turn it on. There you go. You put the lid back on. My little bunny's watching it. Do, 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 do. Look at that. And oh, you can see the metal piece coming down. See it on the inside there? And these things go crazy. I bought the set, I think there's 4. There's 4. And I bought a set of 4 for my grandkids because to put in their window. I thought they were just adorable. And I think at the time I might have given a few away on my YouTube channel. I just love them, and I have them in my window, and I don't turn them on all the time. See how you don't touch that? Look at them. Look at them. They're still working. That back end of that little firefly's lit up green. Look. I had so much fun with it. I just loved it. I loved it. I almost put holes in the top of it too with a knife, like banging it down there so these little butterflies could breathe. It was crazy. And then to realize they're not, look at, I haven't touched them and they're still waving their little wings. And I just think it's gorgeous. I had to drive all the way to Niagara Falls to get them too. But I had to have it. It's just one of those things that is just one of those things. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did sharing it with you. So here we go. There's envelope number 1, sending blessings. There's grateful coming up there with the beautiful birds on it. Here's my bunny cards. I tried to speed it up a bit. There's butterfly cards, all with different inspiration for you. I hope you really did like it. I'm going to slow that down a bit right here. I don't know if my voice was going with that. I stopped it and slowed the rest of this down because I wanted you to see a close-up of it. How simplistic it is, but yet you're using a lot of different product. Your alcohol inks, these little dies, some cute sentiments, beautiful stamps, and I get to use my dust protectors. I love the way I was just showing how they match, you know, with the butterfly and the outdoors, you know, leaves and foliage. Crafty friends are best friends. I thought that was a nice card. I think that each one of the cards, made especially for you by Carol Held, that's the stamp I had made at Beatty's, and there you get to use so much in here of your stash. Just get out some pretty stamps. Envelopes are wonderful for that because there doesn't have to be rhyme or reason for them, really, especially if you're adding a die and to it. Hold on to your happy, you're painting, you're getting some painting in, which is just slapping paint on so that you can die cut it and have it as a surface part of your creation. Putting nice sheets of paper down into your envelope that's left over will use up your cardstock. That's a nice way. It uses up your sequins. You get to, you know, you inspire me to be a better person. That's a different sentiment. I really like that. I'm putting it off to the side so that I can get them all ready to go into the box. And I think you can see why I didn't put the box on here. We would have been here for 3.5 hours. So, and I would have had to wait to do the voiceover because it's not completed yet. But anyway, I hope you liked it. And I want to thank each person that takes the time to watch my tutorials. Thank you very much. And yeah, I want to say hi to Eleanor. I've missed your comments. There's the little stitching. Don't forget to put clear embossing powder over top of your pen. Your glossy accents, your coloring is so simplistic. You're using Gamsol. You're using gold backed paper to bring out that happy birthday sentiment. And these two will go together. Here, you're just sending blessings from our house to yours. The sentiments are nice to have. And you could, you know, you could leave out the actual hummingbird and mailed that card out if you wanted to. Then I did a thanks. Love, love, Barb. I love that watercolor set that you gifted me. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. Here's our washi tape once again. Is this not fabulous? I love it. I love it. Wait till you see the other, washi tape that I have. There's the die I use that I have for a stamp set. Here's a few products. I tried right there. The washi tape matches that flower right there. Right there. Where you see Sorry and Inspire, that set there has matching washi tape. Isn't that crazy? And it's 5.5 inches, like I said. But everybody, thank you. Thank you so very much for friending me and inviting me into your home, into your craft room as you watch my tutorials. It means so much to me. And I am sincere when I say that. I have my happy on and I'm wanting to send out that a sentiment from me to you that you have yourself a blessed weekend coming up, and be safe. And I will put my box video, how I created that, up next and show you the cards and the box together. So you take care of yourself. As always, I look forward to the next tutorial, and I will see you then, my friends. Take care, everybody. Bye now.